Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 10th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about The Rise of Skywalker is that it had a very shaky production. The main reason, of course, being because of Kathleen Kennedy really interrupting with J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio's plan for Episode 9's script and what they were actually filming before the reshoots took place in both 2018 and 19 just last year. The thing about The Rise of Skywalker is that there's a main reason as to why at times in the final cut of the movie it feels very messy or rushed or just too fast-paced, is because a lot of scenes were taken out of the film where new scenes were just thrown into the mix. I think a great example is how the Mustafar scene in the very beginning of Episode 9 was so shortened. It was actually going to be far longer in the very beginning of the movie before Kathleen Kennedy cut out many different sequences that were actually going to really honor the legacy of Darth Vader and more. Now, on top of all of this, a lot of fans have been really wondering about what could have been for The Rise of Skywalker before the reshoots by Kathleen Kennedy and how she took out a lot of scenes and what the movie really would have been like for characters like Kylo Ren, Luke Skywalker, Rey, you name it, so on and so forth. Now, what's really intriguing about all of this is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films as well as their new Star Wars universe. Now, it's noted that currently Disney has over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects in the early development phase, where it's described that during production for The Rise of Skywalker, both J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy had creative differences for all three acts of the film, which is the main reason as to why there were two phases of reshoots for the movie. It's noted that one of the scenes that were deleted by Kathleen Kennedy that was shot back in late 2018 involved both Mark Hamill and Adam Driver as Luke and Kylo Ren inside of Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar. The scene was said to have been inspired by Colin Trevorrow's original script that J.J. Abrams was going to pick up on, where Kylo Ren would actually walk into Darth Vader's castle on Mustafar in the very beginning of the movie, where Kylo Ren would actually discover the throne of Darth Vader inside of his castle at the very top. The throne of Vader was said to sit at the very top of the castle inside of an observatory of the structure, where Kylo Ren would take a seat and hold a Sith holocron while listening to Palpatine's voice. This is where eventually Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost would interrupt, where he would then haunt Kylo Ren, where Luke's hand would rest on Kylo's shoulder, startling Kylo Ren at that moment at the return of his uncle. Mark Hamill even wrote his own line of dialogue that was somewhere around the lines of, "I hope you know the full story, Ben." The line of dialogue was in reference to Darth Vader and Palpatine and their defeat on board of the second Death Star, where Luke would tell him the direct truth of how Darth Vader turned to the light, where this is said to have been the original spark of light within Kylo Ren that he would battle in the very beginning of the movie, where it would eventually lead to Kylo trying to strike down Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost. As his Force Ghost fades, Luke would then initiate the voices of Han Solo in Kylo's mind, haunting him of what he did to his father in The Force Awakens. So you can see what J.J. Abrams was trying to do. He was trying to fulfill Mark Hamill's wish. I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of years ago, I believe it was at the premiere for The Last Jedi, where they were questioning him about his return, quite possibly as a Force Ghost back then, and how he would actually like to really portray himself as a Force Ghost. And Mark Hamill even brought up the idea of being a Force Ghost that would actually haunt somebody. That's something that he would love to do. And J.J. Abrams picked up on that, and he was going to give Mark Hamill that wish. And you can see in this particular scene that was actually planned before it got cut, is that Mark Hamill as Luke's Force Ghost was going to do just that. He was going to haunt Kylo Ren, trying to tell him the direct truth, where it was basically the concept of the truth hurts for Kylo Ren, right? Telling him the full story about Darth Vader and Palpatine and how Vader turned to the light, and how that was going to really spark a little bit of light within Kylo Ren that he would battle. And that battle against that spark of light would progress to Kylo Ren trying to strike down the Force Ghost of Luke, only for Luke to haunt Kylo Ren by pretty much showing him the exact truth of what he did to his father, showing him the voices of, Han Solo of the past as well as visions. And it really does lead one to believe, when you think about Luke Skywalker having no interaction with Kylo Ren in The Rise of Skywalker in the final cut, why couldn't we have gotten this by J.J. Abrams, right? It seems as if Kathleen Kennedy did not want any scenes related to Luke and Kylo Ren conversing. To me, I think it would have been quite surreal to see. I think it would have been quite an experience to have two Skywalkers communicating with each other like that in that sense. Something that we really haven't seen, like a Force ghost of a Skywalker talking to a living Skywalker. I would have loved to have seen that. So, like I said before, guys, let me know what you think about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No hiding from night to moon.